Hi. For those of you who don't know me, allow me to introduce myself. I'm Douglas Thunderhorse Goldsmith. I've been making Thunderhorse flutes for, I don't know, around 30 years or so, somewhere in that neighborhood. But one of the things that I run into a lot with especially new players is as flute makers, um, we understand that you're going to suffer from what we call wet out, or the moisture of our breath entering the flute and eventually clogging the flute in the middle of play. And we always recommend that you remove the block and dry that surface off with a soft cloth, and underneath the block with a soft cloth, and then set the flute up and allow it to dry. But that usually presents a little bit of a problem because uh, we know how we tie our blocks on, and sometimes it's difficult for you to get that block tied back on there anywhere close to the way we have it, and especially tight and a good seal. So I thought I'd just take a minute and demonstrate how I tie my blocks on. This is one of my signature blocks on one of my Eagle flutes. It's just it's the block that I like to use on most of my flutes. But first I'm going to remove the block. I'm just going to lay my finger on the front so it doesn't fall off when I untie it. I have just a single knot here in the back, as you can see. And I just kind of work that loose and unwrap it from the flute. Then I can just take the block right off like that. Now, that's the easy part. You know, I've dried it all, it's all clean. I'm going to put it back on now. So what I do is I hang the buckskin evenly across the center of where the block ties on, like that, okay? And I place that onto the flute. Just slide it right up to the... I always place mine just right behind the edge of the true sound hole. And I hold it in place like that with my finger, okay? So I'm going to just take these two at the bottom and pull them down tight and hold them just like that, okay? So we've got that held, it's nice and tight. I'm going to slip my two fingers up, my finger and my thumb, and I'm going to hold that on the side like this, see? So I've got it good and tight. I'll bring the one in the back around, pull it down tight, and move my finger over to that one. So then I hold it again, switch to my other hand, and wrap the front around, just like that, and pull it down tight. So now I have just 3 wraps across the block. I grab it at the bottom, see, like this, pull it down tight. Now, how do I tie that? I don't want to let go, it'll get loose again. So I take that, and I'm always sitting down, I place the base of the flute, or the end of the flute, between my knees and hold it. And I rest the mouthpiece against my forehead like this. And then I'd simply tie that knot. Tight, just like that. And there we have it back on the flute. Now, you can see here that it's not quite where it needs to be, so you're going to have to tweak it just a little bit. Like I said, I usually run mine right directly behind the true sound hole, like that. But you may need to move it forward or backward a little bit to find that sweet spot on the flute. Now you're ready to play. But that's how I tie my blocks on. Just 3 simple wraps, a single slip knot, but you can see how I hold everything tight. Now that block is good and snug, it's not going to move anywhere. And the next time I have to do it, I'll be better at tying it back on. So just a little something that people have asked me over the years, and I know it can be difficult, especially if you do not know the process. But that's how I do it, and I hope that you find this very helpful in the future. So have a wonderful day, and I've got to head back out in the flute shop now. I'm working on a flute for a good friend of mine, Nancy, that I met just maybe 3 weeks ago. So have a good day.